Good morning, all. I hope you can all hear me. Welcome to our webinar today on sleep disorders. My name is Jessica Atego. I work for Britam as a medical associate. And our host today, David Obonyo, who's the head of medical, will be joining us a bit late. So I will do the introduction, which he will come in later and continue. Britam is a leading diversified financial service group listed in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. The group has presence in 7 countries. That is basically our footprint in Africa, which is in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, South Sudan, Malawi, and Mozambique. The Britam Group, offers a wide range of financial solutions in life assurance, general insurance, health insurance, like what we are currently doing today, retirement planning, asset management, and property. These solutions help our customers to protect and grow their wealth and achieve their financial goals every step of the way. As most of you might be aware, that is our brand promise: with you every step of the way. In our health insurance, we have a number of products that we offer, one of them being corporate plans, SMEs plan, which is basically a small, medium enterprise product. We also have retail, which is popularly known as individual products. Recently, we launched Brita Milele, which is a health product designed for families and SMEs. It offers a 360-degree solution to our clients, not only focusing on illness, which most insurance companies concentrate on, but we also focus on wellness, cancer care, nutrition, and more so mental wellness, where we have partnered with the best experts to help our customers lead healthy lifestyles. Our speaker for today in regards to the sleep disorders is Dr. Nchebere Murioki, who is a renowned psychologist, a specialist in child and adolescent counseling, a trained marriage and family therapist, and also a child play and art therapist. He also deals with drug and substance abuse. Dr. Nchebere, I can now allow you to kick in and we can proceed with the session. Thank you very much.
Most welcome. Thank you, Jessica, for your introduction. Yes, I will not waste time explaining on what she has said. I will only maybe say that I practice under Purpose Counseling and Wellness Center, and we are situated on View Park Towers on the 15th floor, that is Suite 11. Today we are talking about insomnia and disturbed sleep. And how are these, or how is insomnia and disturbed sleep affecting our mental health? How can I bring my image? How does the two affect our mental wellness? It is important for us to realize that there is no health without mental wellness. And these two run hand in hand, and they assist us and help us to be able to function normally and okay. So as we move on, I will want maybe to start by saying that it is okay not to be okay. It is okay to say that I have been suffering from lack of sleep. It is okay to ask for help. And time has come for us to move away from being ashamed and to hide from the mental stigmas that has been running around, that anything mental health is related with madness, ama wenda wazimu. So it is okay to seek for help, and that is why today we are boldly talking about mental issues, and one of the issues we are talking about mental health, is insomnia and sleep deprivation or sleep disturbances. So I will first of all look at what is insomnia. One, there is no one definition that we can use to define insomnia. It is, yes, the inability of falling asleep. It can be lack of falling asleep, whereby you go to sleep, you toss around, and it takes you a long, long while before you sleep. It can also be defined as waking up too early. There are people who go to bed, yes, sleep comes, but exactly at 2 in the morning. For some reasons, they decide to wake up. And from there, it is a story. Sleeping or getting back to sleep becomes a problem. And some have defined ways. Instead of sleeping and waking up at 2, I would rather sleep at 1 so that I can be able at least to sleep. It can also be defined as troubles falling asleep again. Someone sleeps, and when they go, maybe, for example, to susu, that's it. They will not sleep again. And then it is also sleeping, yes, but you don't get rest. You wake up as tired as you had slept. All these are definitions, all these are ways that we can talk about sleep. I would want to bring to our attention here today that this issue is a huge issue in our country. And I may be speaking to several people who are agreeing and saying, yes, I have an issue. Yes, I have a problem of lack of sleep. So maybe we may ask ourselves, what is sleep disturbance? These are the changes of sleep pattern or habits of sleeping that are being interrupted, that have been disturbed, that are not constant, that cannot be counted upon as a normal way of sleeping. Also, sleep disturbance, we can call it a situation or a state whereby I can initiate sleep, but I fail to maintain the sleep. All these are situations that we are talking about, that we are calling sleep disturbance. And many people have got different type of sleep disturbances compared to them, the environment, and the situation that they are going through. So then, what is sleep? What do we call sleep? It is a psychological behavior that is common to all animal species. And you and me believe and know that we are in that category of animals. Though sleep is natural, and it is a normal state of our mind and the body that is characterized by altered consciousness, that sometimes runs away from us. However, universally, we can say sleep is the time of our bodies to go to rest, or what some people can call rest cycle. Sleep time is a time when our bodies are in decreased activities, or they are not alert to external stimuli. Sleep is that state when you and me are not in control. So what makes us sleep? Our bodies are the God created us in a way that we have a clock time in our mind. And this clock time runs in a 24-hour system. There are chemicals and hormones that are key in helping us sleep. I will try as much as possible to avoid many scientific terminologies, and I will do my best to make it as simple as I can. So, we have this thing that we call circadian rhythm. This rhythm is what is used by our bodies or our mind specifically so that we can fall into sleep. But this rhythm, which is 24 hours, has got two processes. And these processes are what makes us sleep. One, as we are right now, our bodies are producing a compound we call adenosine. This compound is built during the day, and our bodies, when they are turned into sleep, then they start breaking the compound by and by until morning comes. So when this compound is malfunctioned or it is not built enough, we will find ourselves having problems in sleeping. So it is very important for us to note this compound that is produced in our mind. So by the time we get to 5 p.m., the adenosine has been built enough, and we start feeling the fatigue, the tiredness, our bodies start slowing down, and we are now being prepared to switching to a sleeping mode. So as this compound is increasing, our bodies are signaling to going down to sleep. Then the second one is an internal system that our bodies have, and science has been unable to define that. And this we can only attribute to the higher power who is our creator and our God. Our system, an internal clock, which is in sync with our environment, it's so powerful that when light sets in, by that time, our systems also set on and we automatically wake up. So light, sound, darkness, all these factors that are in our environment contribute, and we do not have any scientific measure to explain how light is used to cause us to be awake, how darkness triggers or ushers in to sleep. These are factors that are in our environment that me and you and the science world cannot be able to explain in totality. I hope no one maybe will pose a question to me and ask me, how come then my system has got a cue that I'm awake at night? We will answer a few of those kind of questions when we meet in the question and answers. But this is an internal system, an internal clock, if I may say, that is set in us, in you, in me, that wakes me up when time comes. Now, when evening approaches, our bodies have got another important chemical that we produce in the name of melatonin. Melatonin is an hormone that you and me produces. It is present in our bloodstream, and by the time we get 7, 8, we are feeling drowsy, tired, and our bodies are initiating us to a night rest. Let me put this clearly. Our bodies work with these 3 chemicals, that is melatonin, adrenaline, and cortisol. Now, cortisol is the other hormone. Once you have consumed the compound that I call adenosine, once you've consumed all of that compound, then another hormone is produced, which we call cortisol, and it triggers you immediately to waking up. Now, as simple as I can, or as simple as I could have made it, that is the simple explanation of how we, or how you and me, fall into sleep. Note here, my viewer and listener, I have avoided by all means to walk into the 4 stages of sleep. I have avoided approaching it from the REM and the NREM, the rapid eye movement, and the non-rapid eye movement. Why? Because if I enter into that aspect, then I will be too scientific. I will be too medical. That will not assist us. I thought this simple aspect would be enough for us at least to understand 3 issues or 3 chemicals that our bodies produce so that they can enable me and you to fall asleep. We will look at why and when and what could be the issue if these are not being produced as required. Then how does sleep affect our mental health? Remember, I started by saying, as a psychologist, I look at health from the mental perspective. I look at the psychological well-being of you and me. How could be the mental aspect affect you from achieving your wellness? It is important at this juncture then to say, my hope is that we will achieve a 360-degree point of wellness. So, I will start by asking ourselves, what is mental health? It is a state of well-being that each individual is able to realize their own abilities. That is, when I say I am mentally healthy, I am able to cope with my day-to-day normal stressors. If lack of sleep is my stressor, am I able, as Nchebere, to be able to deal with that issue? If I cannot be able to address that stressor, then there is a problem. I cannot claim to be mentally healthy. Am I able, the other point is, am I able to work productively? Can I be able to be fruitful in my area of work? Remember, human beings are, or get to a point of appreciating themselves when they are able to be productive, and not only being productive, by becoming fruitful. So, if I am not being productive, if I am feeling drowsy, if I have to take an energy drink every morning, And we know we have so many in the market. If I have to pop in a pill so that I can remain energetic throughout the day, then health in terms of mental has eluded me. And lastly, can I be able to produce and become a contributor to my community? And the first community is your significant community. Each and every one of us comes from a family. Yes, you may not be in a family yourself, but you came from within a family, which is a bigger community, which ends up becoming a society and a nation at large. So if I cannot be able to define myself within those parameters, then I am lacking mental health. So what is wellness? It is the process of being aware and being at that point in life when I can make choices, meaningful choices towards my health and fulfilling my life. That is what we simply can define as wellness. So these two factors are essential, very key for us to be able to weigh ourselves, assess ourselves. Are we mentally healthy? Can we comfortably claim to be having a wellness? If that is not answered, then we have a duty as a people to look at ourselves and start questioning when the rain start beating us. So what does mental health look like? Briefly, it is about personal development. Can you look at yourself and check your development? I am talking of mental development. Do you have positive, respectful relationships? Are you able to identify, manage, understand your emotions? Are you able to communicate, solve problems, make decisions, and take responsibility of your actions? Lastly, are you able to set goals not based on subjectiveness of your situation, but objective goals? When all these things I have mentioned are not in sync, then we are at that spot that I am saying we are not mentally healthy. And we have not been able to achieve a state of saying, I am able to call myself mentally healthy. And in relation to our today's topic, as insomnia or sleep disturbances caused you to lose your mental wellness, are you at that verge of saying, I need help? Like I started by saying, and I can see people joining us. Are you that person who has been hiding? Then I come forward and tell you, it is okay to seek help. It is okay to say, I have been suffering from mental health. I am not well. I need to be assisted. I need to be helped. Then I ask myself this question: what amount of sleep is enough? Or how much should I sleep? Briefly, I have a small table here with me, and I will jump to two categories: teenagers and adults, because this is where the problem starts occurring. A normal okay teenager is required to have 8.5 to 9.5 hours of sleep. consistently. For an adult, it is between 7 and 9 hours. Sometimes, due to the struggles of our life, 6 hours are recommended. Anything short of that is deprivation. And we will talk more about that. And at this point, I would want to indicate here. The question is not how much do I sleep? The question is, what is the quality of my sleep? There are some people who will do 10 hours, but they will wake up a tired lot, a disturbed people. And there's someone who will do 6 hours and they will have a restful night. I believe we've heard ourselves saying, nililala kama mtoto. I believe that's a statement that we can identify with. Yes, it is about the quality of your sleep, the quality of my sleep. If you don't have that, something has to be done. Also, I want to state clearly that sleep deprivation becomes the number one root of most diseases. How is that? When we lack sleep, we cause a lot of inflammation into our bodies, into our organs. And when that happens, then we are prone to serious illnesses and to serious mental issues. So, there is a sleep misery cycle that we go through, especially for people who sleep issue. During the day, we are so much fatigued. Why? Because yesterday night, we suffered poor sleep. We have low energy because our bodies did not recover, because our bodies did not do the cleanup. And then we have difficulties coping with stress. And you and me know very well that the moment we are stressed, we are prone to anxiety, depression, irritability, and panic. When these 4 items, anxiety, depression, irritability, and panic, are in us, then by 6 p.m., by 8 p.m., when everyone is starting to doze off, you enter into a worry pattern. Now, this worry pattern is already setting you in to another long, lonely night. And the cycle of sleep misery is followed again because we are in for a very low, poor sleep pattern. And again, we wake up tomorrow with the same problem. Fatigued. Have you met people who, as early as 6 in the morning, they are yawning? And if you inquire from them, anakuambia nimekula breakfast nzuri, labda hata aliikula in one of the big hotels. But they are already tired. They are already fatigued. They do not have energy. They are low in terms of how enthusiastic they are. And the cycle of misery is replicated in their life. Then, when that cycle is replicated, you are setting yourself into another dangerous cycle that is called the anxiety cycle. Please note, the sleep misery cycle has given birth to anxiety cycle. I hope you are following to see now where you start losing it. And as you go home, you're already anxious and wondering, oh my God, what can I do so that tonight I can sleep? Where is that information being processed? It is a psychological issue. And you respond it in your mind. And instantly you start focusing on lack of sleep. Immediately you become worried, you become anxious more, you start sweating, you become irritated, you are not concentrating on anything because it is almost getting to evening, and you know what you go through when it comes to sleep. And again, the concern, the symptoms, the cause, and the consequences are so real to you. For example, you are wondering, tomorrow I have a full entry. You are concerned. You are so tired. You're concerned. The consequences of your sleep lack is causing you problem. And once again, by morning, you are a tired being. That walks in and gives us to another dangerous cycle, the cycle of depression. Please note this, and this is kindly enough. Depression does not start by itself. It has a root cause. And if you have been following, I am trying to create a sequence of how it comes into. And again, because of this, depression, we walk into a thought and feeling process. We start feeling hopeless. We start feeling worthless. We start feeling lonely. We become negative. We become sad. Where is this being produced? Like I said earlier, it is a psychological response. As an individual now, because of my anxiety, because of my sleep misery cycle, I am now concerned about myself. And because I'm anxious, I am entering into a center of depression. And with me, other stressors walk in because of my mental psychological state, because of my feelings. Stressors like medical illnesses start coming in. Have you found yourself with pains and aches that you do not have answers and solutions for? You cannot explain. Mara ni mugongo. Kaluma uko na kaluma hii, uko na deep ile, uko na all manner of sugua things that you use to take away your pain. You start finding that you are having family problems. Some of them are so minor, so petty, yet they are huge and surmountable mountains. Suddenly you walk into financial problems. And I want to state here, I know and I am expecting some of my brothers to tell me, I have to take 2 or 1 ndio niweze kulala. And which started like just a sip, it has also created another problem. And now you are battling addiction. Maybe as I'm speaking, Your family is in a financial crisis due to your introduced habit of trying to deal with sleep that was advised by your friend. Mwenza, kunywa kamoja mtu wangu, utarara kama mtoto. Now, you have got a letter from your HR. Things are turning yellow, if not black. These are what I'm calling stressors. Note carefully. My brother, my sister, you are sliding into depression. At this juncture, I may say there is no cure for depression. It is not a good place to slide into. Yes, I use the word sliding because there is no road sign that is telling you, watch Nchebere, you are walking into it. Lack of sleep is a clear indicator. We need to watch it. And slowly by slowly, physical manifestations are now seen. You start losing appetite. You have constant headaches that we cannot address. That is physical and psychological. Now you are so moody. Your colleagues used to know you as the most jovial individual. Suddenly, you are wearing such a long face. And before you realize, it has now become a social problem. You are now behaving abnormally. You are less productive. You are less active. You are socially withdrawn. You are a person who people no longer want to be near to. Kindly, we are simply addressing sleep misery cycle, which gives birth to all these other cycles that I have talked about. And if by now you've not seen how insomnia and lack of sleep are connected with your mental wellness, then as a counseling psychologist, I will still have an opportunity and I'll create another chance for you to come and have a sit-in with me so that we can look at things at a deeper perspective. So, what are the insomnia cycle? Remember, we are coming from sleep misery cycle. We came to anxious cycle. We went to depression cycle. And now we are on to my last cycle of events that you go through so that we can take this issue as serious as you and I can. You would rather play with everything else. Apana chesa na usingisi. It is a very, very serious, integral part of your living. Now, this insomnia cycle, it starts with stress. When this stress walks in, I have a solution called medicine. And that is the most unfortunate thing that majority of us do. We are, as a country, in a culture where we love over-the-counter prescription. So when you have an headache, you have a pain joint here, you are stressed, you run for medication. And of course, the pharmacist, because they are in business, they will never sit down to ask you, what happened? What is the cause? Might be you're suffering from trauma, might be you're suffering from anxiety, might be. They do not have time to look at the cause. And because you have addressed the symptom by taking the pill, the stress does not go. It manifests itself in the next level in form of pain. Again, you address it by running back to the same chemist and getting a better painkiller. Now you have a stress which has manifested itself into pain, and you are still running into medication. That now, because it is manifesting itself more and more, it walks into a depression, into an anxiety, depression state. And again, we run into medication. That goes back again to the sleep deprivation angle, and back to stress again, back to pain, back to anxious depression curve, and the cycle goes on and on and on. Let me put a disclaimer here. I am not saying medication is wrong. I am simply saying it must not be the first option. When I suffer from sleep deprivation, I named first to realize the following day, I'll be stressed automatically. I don't need to run into getting a painkiller. Why not take water? Why not look at the causes that made me not have a good night's sleep? By the time we go to medicine, let it be the last option. And that is why counseling psychologist walks in, because we treat by talking. And that's the irony of our treatment. It's you walk into my therapy center and we sit down for a record 2 hours or thereabout. Kwangumso. But we are used into running into medication. Now, having said all that, what are the symptoms of insomnia? And because time is running away from me, allow me, friends, to run very fast so that I can create room and space for questions, because I can see people are joining in, and I want to believe my moderator, who may be Jessica or David, as I had, I hope I got his name well, will be able to throw enough questions on my side. One symptom that we don't need to ignore at any given time is headaches. Headache. Never ever ignore it. And like I said in the earlier slide, medicine, painkiller, mara moja, ile ya mwala na advertise. Oh Lord, I hope I can remember it. It has mojas at the end. Avoid all these painkillers. Just as they are called, they are painkillers. Any headache that you suffer, it has got a cause. Would you wish to look at it? Inability to focus. And I want to run and stay a bit with this. Intestinal distress. Labda umeamuka asubuhi na ushakuwa dereva na bado una driving license. Maybe you are having loose dung, or you are going to the loo more than necessary. Please don't run to the chemist and ask for diastop. My brother, my sister, check what could be the cause. It is just a symptom, and symptoms do not explain and give the actual cause. They are just triggers. Dizziness, extortions. Musisahau kwetu ni Meru, Aki. Ile kuchoka, I'm sorry. Mahali sinakutana. Now, this is where they meet and you pronounce this and you mean that. Forgive me. Nasema kuchoka. Feeling exhausted. Hiyo. Sasa ikiweko extortion, I lose the way. You remember that brother of mine who called it crocodile? Yes. Thank you. Maybe you are about to sleep. So these are just symptoms. How would you notice them? Be careful about them. With me here, I have very few causes. They are very important. I notice here the screen is talking to me. Francis is requesting for remote control of my screen. I do not know what that means, but I have experts with me here. Oh, I'm being told to decline. Thank you, sir, for assisting me. One cause is your health condition. What other underlying issues that you could be suffering from? And this is where now going to the hospital should be important. And may I put a disclaimer here? At this juncture, after noticing some of these symptoms, the first person that is very necessary for you, it is a psychologist. You walk in to us so that we can start telling you, and we start looking at the possible causes before, and we are very, very professional with this. Whatever is beyond the causes that we may pick, we are very quick to refer to you to a health practitioner who will now go on and take a few more checks. When you start noticing that you are having memory losses, very essential. When you notice also that you are suffering from mental issues, remember the way I explain mental health. It is very important. By the way, I want to pose a question here, my viewer and my listener. Are you aware of your body reactions and responses? Remember, I asked, how does wellness look like? Can you identify? Please underline that. Can you identify your emotions? Ama wewe ni wale tunaambiwa, mbona uliniongelesha mbaya hivyo? Pole sana, aki sio mimi. Unajua jana tuliongea, nilikuwa nimekunywa tuwili. And you go scot-free because now we blame alcohol. Do you understand when your body is telling you something? Can you be able to tell when your body is asking for help? That is what we call mental health. Sometimes you may not. And that is why, as counseling psychologists, we are there so that we can be able to show you possible issues, bulbs, lines that you might ignore. Now, with all that, I want to start summarizing by asking ourselves this simple question. Why is sleep this important to us? It is important to our functionalities because this is the moment when all toxins are eliminated from our system. Remember when I started, I said there is a compound that our bodies produce, and I called it adenosine. Remember, I also mentioned about a circadian or circadian rhythm. These are chemicals and compounds that produce toxin. If actually you can know, if I went to the 4 stages of sleep, your mind produces something as black as soot. Now, kama unatoka huko kwetu tunaita ncholonki. Now, I do not know any other name to explain. But kama ulikuwa kama mimi, kuna ile black thing, mahali kina mama zetu walikuwa napika in the chimney. that is exactly what you produce. And that is why it is important for you and me to sleep, so that that toxin can be cleaned off our mind or off our brain. It also gives you physical restoration. I hope you remember I talked about the quality of sleep, not the quantity, not how many hours. You may have 5 hours, though not recommended, but you have quality sleep. When you sleep also, you help your mind to process information. This is very important for all of us. And I started by saying teenagers, they need to sleep so that whatever they have studied, it can be stored comfortably in the long-term memory. It also enables and regulates your mind and your mood. And lastly, it strengthens our immune system. Now you realize sleep is essential, very important. Why should you take care of yourself? Or what is self-care? It is what you and me do to establish, maintain a healthy body so that I can prevent myself from dealing with illnesses. Self-care is individual. It must be deliberate and it needs to be self-initiated. You need absolutely to be purely under control. It is you and me who is supposed to be in charge. When I talk of self-care, it is important for you to have goals that are functional and that are objective. These goals must be set to deal with all day-to-day stresses. As you set your goals, they must be able to offer you energy, vitality, and last and not least, be able to give you confidence and self-esteem. And once you and me do that, we shall be able to take care of ourselves and be able to deal with our sleep issues. And at the end of the day, be able to overcome all these things that are caused by lack or low sleep. You don't need to be at your lowest so that you can seek help. Time has come, and the time is now, and today, when you need to say, yes, I don't need to be ashamed any longer. I need to look at myself and say, I need mental health help. It is okay to seek help. It is okay to say, I am not okay. And with that, I want to thank Britain Fraternity for preparing for its customers, its workforce, and everyone for this wonderful moment, whereby I believe I have a number of people saying, I suffer from this form of lack of sleep, from this disturbance, or from total lack of sleep. And it is time for us to say, we need to seek help. We no longer need to be stigmatized, to feel ashamed, and to feel isolated, because insomnia is a mental health issue. Lack of sleep is an issue that needs to be assisted. You need help and you need to seek help, and time has come so that you can be proud of 360 degrees of total wellness. With that, I want to come to the end of my presentation. And if Jessica or David, if I am sure of my pronoun, the name, you can take over so that maybe we can go to question and answers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daktari, for a very informative session. I believe the attendees have learned a lot from it. And now we'll go directly to the Q&A session. I'll read the questions to you, Daktari, then you can address them as we proceed. So the first question is discuss about sleeping patterns too. Does changing the sleeping and waking times have a negative effect on the human body?
Absolutely, yes. And one of the things that we need to be very careful, and I want to give an example of a child. When a child is born, remember they were in their mother's womb for the longest, or for the duration of time they stay there. When they come to our world, this becomes a change, a new total change. And that has got significant effect to our mind. Remember, sleep is manufactured and produced, generated into our mind. Without your mind, you don't have sleep. It is essential. It is the raw commodity. And so it is important for us to look at our sleep pattern, to look at the environment we call the place of sleep, to look at our bedrooms. How warm are they? How cold are they? How accommodative? How pleasing are they for us to beckon to the land of sleeping? Yes, change in our sleeping patterns and mood and habit and behavior is essential. It can affect you 1,000,001 times as far as sleep is concerned. We need to take care of that. Jessica? Over to you, Jessica. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
Doctor, you can hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Good. The next question is, can weight influence the quality of sleep?
Absolutely, yes. And I will tackle this one from the point of discipline. The cycle of sleep that I ignored, I refused to tackle. Things like sleep apnea that I really would not want to tackle because of time we have here. It is the control of how this area of our nostril, without going again back to the medical issue, how we take in and how it is distributed to us. Weight is a major factor, and it affects us seriously as far as our sleep is concerned. And as we grow fatter, or as we add weight, or as we become obese, our heart rates are affected, and that affects the chemical production which is sent to our mind. Yes, weight affects our sleep pattern.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hari. We have another question where the participant is asking, how does one cope with insomnia as a result of menopause? And also, we have people who use incentive drugs to find quality sleep. What's your take on that?
I will first of all tackle the issue of drugs. When you are at a state where you are using drugs for you to be able to fall asleep, at that particular time, you are at a dangerous curve, and that is what we call acute insomnia, and it is dangerous. One thing I want to say here, with the right journey of the medical people and psychologists, sleep can be cured. However, when you have reached at the point of drugs for you to sleep, you are introducing your brain to artificial systems that your brain is not able to deal with. For example, when you take a drug to sleep, it might be a drug that is in the category of antidepressants and which causes your mind to slow down. Now, you take away the power of the natural clock that you are born with, which is around this the circadian rhythm. Now, when you affect that and introduce drugs, in simple, we are saying you are introducing medication to address your system. That is dangerous. You will get to a point where those drugs are not effective. Now you will need a more powerful drug. And in that time, you are addicted. There's no difference between you and any other substance abuser. I kindly beseech everyone to desist, to stop taking any form of drug as a means of assisting you to fall asleep. The part B of the question is about how do I deal with sleep issues after menopause. Now, menopause is not a disease. Menopause is not a condition that we need to say it's a problem in itself. Again, God in his own wisdom thought wise for my sisters, our mothers, to have and go through a natural process called menopause, which is an automatic system of clock that you and me or science has no control about. And therefore, I will tell my viewer, my listener, menopause is not the cause of your sleep issues. And so that I allow my moderator with more questions, I will kindly yet humbly say I will share, my moderator will share my numbers so that maybe this lady can have a one-on-one with me so that maybe we can explore other ways and why we or she is not able to sleep. Over to you.
Thank you, Daktari. There's another question, a very interesting one. This seems to be the opposite of insomnia, because what the attendee is asking is, whenever I am free, I tend to sleep for many hours. I may sleep the whole afternoon and still have heavy sleep by 8 p.m. in the evening. Whenever I think of sleeping, I always have sleep anytime. Is this a disorder?
Well, I agree with you. It is an interesting question. And I want again to plead with my viewers, attendees, and everyone here today. Let us not be very fast into calling everything into a disorder. How I hope I had all the time to explain, according to DSM-5, that psychologists, psychiatrists, and all the medical people use to clarify and call disorders. Anything we term as a disorder has got a broad definition. And therefore, can we desist from calling everything disorders? Now, my friend, when you think of sleep, you sleep. What could be the issue, really? When you want to sleep during the day, you just sleep. Really, should we call a problem where I don't see a problem? Aki mimi sitaki Jessica kukubali hiyo ni shinda. I don't think it's a disorder. I only wish to tell the person there are people wishing to sleep. Just sleep and sleep when you want to sleep. Because you have not indicated that your sleeping is stopping you from being productive, that your sleeping is interfering with your day-to-day issues. You've not said that sleep is a stressor. It's making you have anxiety, depression. So, my friend, kama uko na nafasi ya kulala saa 8 na unaweza kulala, lala mtu wangu. Ikifika saa 3 usiku na unaweza lala, lala mtu wangu. Over to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Daktari. Should I be worried that almost a month after surgery, I no longer have quality of sleep, if any? I keep reliving the surgery day. Will this come to pass?
Yes, the moment you want to stop worrying. I know I have taken that answer head on and straight. And sometimes, as a therapist, we get to a point where we just tell our client as it is. What I pick from that question is, she or he was worried, and anxiety, we have seen from all the slides, is one of the root causes of lack of sleep. And now, 1 month after the surgery, this person is talking of not being able to have quality sleep. I do not know what it means to not have quality sleep, but I want to indicate here that when I have sleep for less, let me put it this way. When I have lacked sleep, or when I have only an hour or 2 of sleep for a duration of more than 30 days, that is so worrying. It cannot be addressed only in therapy. It needs to be addressed from a medical approach. 2 fronts. Now, when I hear a month, I start wondering, does that month mean this person has been lacking sleep more than 5 hours since the normal time of sleeping? Universally, majority of people, anytime from 9 p.m., we all retire. Are we talking that the person is only having short time sleep? But on the flip side, there is a worrying thread, a thought of anxiety called surgery. Was the surgery okay? Was the surgery right? Have they really... oh Lord, my tongue twisters here come in now. Have they overcome the things they went through after surgery? Maybe what I'm asking is, maybe they lost a vital organ, for example. If it is a lady, maybe they lost their womb. And maybe she is still at a young age and she wants more children. That could be a cause of worry. Still, she needs to be assisted. If it is a man, and maybe out of all the issues, this gentleman was told, you know what? We have to do away with your production sold. And again, they are not through. So what happened in surgery could be the issue that needs to be addressed. And again, that is not possible to do that here. I still say we can have a session. Jessica?
Thank you, Daktari. When you say that when it reaches the depression stage, there is no cure, how does one get out of this vicious cycle?
Wow, a beautiful question. How does one get? I am repeating the question because the question is individualized, the question is personal, and the question is the root answer of what is or a problem. How do I get out? By making a decision. I want to get out of depression. I said depression occurs into the mind. There is nothing that you cannot overcome with your mind. As a psychologist, this is our daily bread. We help people to deal with things that are mountains. Yes. How can you get out of depression? There are so many exercises. The only thing I need from you is the willingness and then the change of your mindset. Because in the good book it says, as a man thinketh, so is he. And when it talks of a man thinketh, it's both male and female. So yes, how can they get out of this? By the decision of their mind. And then we help them to come out of this. And depression will be a thing of the past. Yes, it is untreatable. You will live under medication forever. I am not talking about the side effect of those medications you are, or the one is introduced to. You start having hallucinations, deliriums, and so on. Over to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Dr. We have another question. Is snoring correlated with lack of sleep?
Yes and no. We have two types of snoring that are major. There is the snoring, and the worst is the snoring that deprives you of your breath and forces you to wake up, which leads to apnea and other diseases. That sort and kind of snoring is a problem. Yani unangorota kama karagita. And that is a problem. And wewe mwenyewe unangorota unajiamusha. Hapo sasa iko shida. So that one, you will need to seek medical help, because there are surgeries that can be done. There are medications that can help widen or make your nasal way to be open so that intake of air can be accepted and all that, without going to how we breathe in and how that air is circulated and how it goes to our brain and how it helps us to sleep well. So if it is disturbing, it's waking you up, it's causing you to have short of breath, yes, that can lead to insomnia. Hii ingine kungorota, ni ile mimi na wewe tunangorotaga. Check how you sleep. Pio pillow yako iko namna gani? Maybe uko na pillow inatoshana kama stew. Change your pillow. Hiyo kungorota kuisha. And that's why I'm saying therapy works. We come, we laugh. You come, we make fun out of some of these things. And my brother, my sister, some of these problems are not a problem. But thank you so much for asking that one. So, endelea kungorota kama huyo mwingine ateti na kama ikufanyi uamuke. Jessica?
Thank you, Daktari. Does physical workout before sleep time affect ability to sleep?
Yes. Because you've pumped in energy. That is retroprogressive. Unajiumisha wewe mwenyewe. Why would you not work out at 3 p.m.? Kama mdosi wako anakukubalia, eda gym saa 9. Piga masaa 3, by 5 wao unalala hata ukitembea. What we do when we work out, we now counter the adenosine that is being produced, this compound that I talked about during the day. We mess the circadian rhythm. And the moment you mess it, then you will take long to sleep. And you will blame so many other things, yet you don't have a problem. It is advisable for me and you to do our workout early in the morning so that by evening, all systems are ready to shut. So it is important for us to work out before we sleep. Sorry. It is not okay to work out before we sleep.
Okay. Thank you, Daktari. Does lack of enough sleep cause low libido?
Yes. And at this juncture, I will introduce also food. Food is a factor. Let me start with food because it will deal with sleep. And in there, I will address the issue of low libido. Food. There are some foods we eat that are not good for us to be eaten because they reduce our sleep. So it is important for us to once in a while sit down with your nutritionist if you don't have one, and know some foods that you need to avoid when you're going to sleep. Also, some fatty starchy foods. And Makiu, I do not want to dwell here. Sababu ninaingia ulingo wa watu wengine. And when I start mentioning things here, nutritionists will be on my case. But I am simply saying, yes, there are some foods that are very, very, I don't want to use bad word. Okay, there are some foods that are not needed for you to eat when you go to sleep because they cause you not to be prepared to sleep. On to that, libido. It is a constellation of a lot of activities. It does not just come. And let me say this. It is the work of your mind and an area below your spine that sends signals directly to your genitalia, that they must be connected for you to be able to be effective. So, why did I say lack of sleep is a factor? Because libido needs you to be well connected. You may lack libido because of lack of sleep, because of medicines you are using, because of stress, because of anxiety. I am mentioning that so that you will not leave this training today saying, Nchebere said, nikilala masaa 6, niko sawa. Kuna vitu singine hapo ndani mtu wangu, unafaa kuangalia. And that is why we need to have one-on-one so that we can address all those little factors that may cause low libido. Lakini haimaanishi ati taa imepoa ama mashine ifanyi kazi. La hasha. You only need to do readjustments here and there. But yes, food, stress, lack of sleep, medicine, worry, anxiety, unstable families, all those factors contribute to low libido. Back to you.
Thank you, Daktari. What is the function of the pineal gland? Does its malfunction cause insomnia?
I will say no. But when we become the Google people, sometimes we will read things that may worry us, and sometimes we may have things that cause us anxiety for nothing. But let me go straight and answer the question. The wonderful and the most important work of pineal gland is to receive information about the state of light and darkness cycle. Simple. Let me just leave it at that. So, remember, I avoided talking about the stages of sleep. And because of this question, let me just eat this a bit. For me to sleep comfortably, it takes my eye. Light passes through my retina and to my optic nerve. And that is why when I started, I said, sitaki kuingia ndani, lakini wacha tu tuonje. Kwa sababu iko maswali na niweze kukata huyo mwingine labda ana swali kama hiyo. When it gets to my optic nerve, a message is sent into my limbic system. Now, in my limbic system, I have got very key issues here. I have a place we call amygdala, I have a place we call hippocampus, and I have a place we call hypothalamus. Do we need all this? No. Now, all these three things will receive information about sleep. Where does this information come from? And it's being sieved from the pineal gland. So when this gland gets, sorry, I poured water around me. Oh, I come from where we talk with our hands so much. I'm sorry. When now this gland sends information, it sieves. And that's why I started by saying I will avoid a lot of clinical psychological jargons about our mind that may confuse us. But I hope I have answered this question, and I want to leave it at that. Over to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Dr. I think we'll take 2 or 3 more questions before we close. How do you help someone who gets epileptic fits at night? It affects the quality of sleep.
Oh, thank you. I will approach this question without looking at what epilepsy does to our brains, because again, I will be crossing to the land of others. And when I cross to the land of others, we always wait for each other with ammunitions. And I don't want to be a target. I will answer epileptic episodes, the disruption of sleep, which is very true, and how I can help the person, or how can you help that person who has gone through an epileptic seizure or attack. Number one, epilepsy is a disease in the mind. And when we get at that juncture, we will need medicine. And I believe the person who has asked this question, they have honestly seen people, specialists in this area. Now, we can get epileptic seizure or attacks when our brain has already gotten used to that drug. So we may need an higher dose. Now, if an attack has occurred at night, the easy and most important thing is for you, the caregiver, to be able to calm down the patient, to reduce their levels of worry. Because the moment I am worried, the moment I am suffering, the moment I am in panic, then my circadian rhythm is already in jeopardy. It has been altered. And when that has occurred, I am not in the natural state of sleep and wake up cycle. So the only thing that the caregiver is supposed to know is how to assist the patient to be calm, to take away anxiety, to take away worry and panic, so that then at that moment they can calm down again. And now with the effect of their medication, then they can go back into sleeping. I hope I selectively chose how to answer that question without going to the other side. And I hope I have assisted the person who had asked the question. Jessica.
Thank you, Dr. Speaking while dreaming and sometimes walking while asleep, what might be the problem?
Okay. At the early stages, I do not think there is a problem. You need only to stop talking while you are asleep. I am trying to make it look easy. But one of the things that I will want to look at here is here I can hear our traditions. And I know there are communities who have night runners and people who really do a lot of activities while they are asleep. I don't want to go there. I only want to address our mind and our mental health and give tips on how you can stop talking when you are sleeping. The work of sleeping is sleeping, not talking. I always say that at stage 3 of our sleep. In the stages of sleep, each stage lasts between 90 and 120 minutes. And like I said earlier, I didn't want to go there. But let me explain why when we sleep, we talk. Every stage, from stage 1, every stage lasts between 90 and 120 minutes. And that is why it is okay for you to wake up, for you to have an interlude of 3 seconds to 1 minute. Alafu una slide back again, unalala. Unaingia stage 2, stage 3. Now, when you are at stage 3, hapo ndio ndoto zinamanufactuliwa. Now, 80% of our sleep is sleep. 20% is the dream. Note carefully. When I started studying, walimu walituambia usingizi ukilala, your brain stops working. Now with the latest science research, it is telling me that when you sleep, your brain is functional. What reduces is the rhythm. And that's why we have circadian rhythm. But nothing stops. So, for example, unaota ukitembea na unaamuka. Could be you are going through a very serious traumatic experience. And because I'm talking to grown-ups, let me address ladies. Labda jana usiku ulichapwa na ukaambiwa, njusi usiku, utaniona hii kisu ni yako. Uwezi lala mtu wangu. Utaamuka ukitoroka. There's no problem there. You only need to deal with your traumatic experiences and the person who is beating you to stop beating you. Number 2, you might have lost a significant person into your life. And this person meant A to Z into your life. Trust you me, during the day, you are in a mode of thinking about this loss. Remember, our brain does not shut when we sleep. It is functioning, but in a reduced state. And now, the 20% I talked about, it's when now your brain goes into frenzy. And that is the word I have used. It goes into frenzy and it starts processing pictures of that episode, that loss, that traumatic, that joy, that sadness. And then in stage 3, you see everything in color. In stage 1 and 2, it's black and white. That's why you don't notice it. So in stage 3, everything is in color. And that's when you see you having fun. Driving. Kabla umalise your driving, na una driving license, unaamuka. And then you have already finished your 120 minutes. You wake up, and because your brain was in a frenzy, you can recall. Remember stage 1, 2, and 4, you don't recall anything. And there is no one who can recall a dream for more than a minute. So it is okay to dream, it is okay to walk, as long as aileti shida zingine. Acha tu kufikiria mingi na utaacha kutembea ukiongea. Jessica.
Thank you very much, Daktari. I think that will be the last question that we will take for today, because we have gone beyond our time by a few minutes. We'd like to remind all the participants that we have the video on YouTube where you can go back and refer or even share with your friends and family if you need to refer to a specific point. We'll also share Daktari's location and contact. Then you can always reach him if you need further consultation. I'll hand over to Head of Medical Operations, David Obonyo, to give the vote of thanks before we close.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Daktari, on behalf of Britam General Insurance and our CEO for allowing us to have this webinar. We really want to thank you, Daktari, for making time to talk to our participants. We have had very good feedback, and also the session was very, very interactive. Daktari, this is something that we think we need to have a chat and see how often we can be having such a conversation, because the knowledge that you have shared with our customers today was very, very insightful. And to all our customers, this is our commitment as Britam General Insurance, that we are really there to support you and we are really there to work with you. This being Customer Service Month, the month of October, Britam Health Insurance is working very, very closely with all our partners to make sure that our customers are able to get value for the product that they are buying with us. So, Doctor, I really want to thank you on behalf of Britam General Insurance. I also want to thank all the participants, those who logged in on Zoom, those who followed us on YouTube. The following has been overwhelming. The questions have been there, and I know Dr. people will want to reach out to you. So to all our participants, thank you so much for making time. I know you guys have a very busy schedule, but for you to just make time and join us, it shows your commitment, and we are there. And as Britam, we promise that we will support you through and through in your medical insurance. And of course, I want to thank the Britam team, the team within Britam Medical, our marketing team, for making this worthwhile. I want to thank you guys, and I want to wish you a very, very nice afternoon as we break for lunch. Thank you guys, and God bless you. Back to Jessica so you can close the session.
Okay, thank you very much, David, for the vote of thanks. So we are now allowed to